All right, let's talk about a movie that didn't just tell a superhero story, it completely tore up the rulebook. In 2005, one film rewrote everything we thought we knew about comic book movies. Today, we're diving into the genesis of a modern legend, Batman Begins.
So this was the massive challenge, right? I mean, everybody knows Batman. But let's be honest, the franchise, it had kind of lost its way. So imagine you're director Christopher Nolan. You've got this legendary character. How in the world do you make him feel new again? How do you make him feel real?
You have to remember, the year is 2005. This is way before the sprawling cinematic universes we have today. The whole superhero genre was in a completely different place. So when Batman Begins came out, it wasn't just another movie. No way. It was this bold, standalone statement that was about to set a brand new standard.
To make Batman feel fresh again, the filmmakers had to do something pretty drastic. They didn't just go back to the beginning. They decided to wipe the entire slate clean and just start over. It was time to reboot the legend.
So what does reboot actually mean? Well, think of it like a total reset button. It means everything that came before, every single film, every other interpretation, you just set it all aside. This gave the filmmakers total freedom to build their own version of Batman from the ground up, without being tied to any previous stories. It was a chance to define the character for a whole new generation.
Nolan's new vision really came down to two powerful words that would change the genre forever: darker and grounded. And believe me, these weren't just marketing terms for a movie poster. They were the actual guiding principles for a completely new kind of superhero story.
Let's break that down. What did that vision actually look like? Well, darker meant they were going to get serious, digging deep into Bruce Wayne's psyche and exploring the raw, psychological trauma that drives him. And grounded? That meant every single piece of his arsenal, every gadget, had to feel real, plausible, like it was actually engineered, not magic. It was all about building a hero in a world that felt just like ours. And because of this realistic approach, the focus completely shifted. This film isn't really just about the creation of a costume and a cool persona. It's about the intense, personal, and frankly painful journey of the man inside the suit, Bruce Wayne. And at the absolute heart of this was Christian Bale's portrayal. He wasn't just playing some billionaire who moonlights as a vigilante. He was embodying a lost young man, completely haunted by his past, who had to totally rebuild his own psyche before he could ever hope to save a city. And this, right here, this gets to the heart of what makes this film so brilliant. The main conflict isn't Batman versus some supervillain. It's Bruce Wayne versus his own fear. Mastering that internal demon is the emotional core of the entire story. It's what makes this hero feel so intensely real. The film lays out a really clear three-step path for his journey. First, Bruce has to confront his childhood trauma head-on, the bats. Next, he learns to understand fear not as a weakness, but as a tool he can actually use. And the final step? He becomes fear itself, turning the very thing that haunted him into his greatest weapon. But look, mastering his own fear was only half the battle. This whole intense personal transformation, it wasn't just for him. It was all for one singular purpose: to save his corrupt and dying city, Gotham. And that's the ultimate payoff. It's not about him becoming the hero he wants to be, but about becoming the symbol that the city desperately requires. He becomes a legend, an idea, something more than just a man, because that's what it's going to take to inspire hope and strike terror into the hearts of criminals. So, what's the blueprint for this game-changing film? It really comes down to four key things. First, you reboot the icon, give yourself a clean slate. Second, build a dark and grounded world that feels absolutely real. Third, you center the entire story on a core psychological struggle, mastering fear. And finally, you define the hero not by what he wants, but by what his city needs. And this brings us to a final, pretty big question. The film suggests a hero isn't born from just one single moment of tragedy. Instead, they're forged through this conscious, painful journey of mastering their own demons to serve something bigger than themselves. So, what do you think is the true origin of a hero? The trauma that creates them, or the choice they make in its aftermath?